Chat. Okay. We are about to go into Men's Mental Health Month. That is June. That also coincides with a few other things, namely Gay Pride Month. So, let me get this part out there already. This video will probably be doing pretty dang well by the time June starts. So, I want to get a couple things off my chest. I don't want to hear any of y'all talking about men's mental health during Men's Mental Health Month. And when I say any of y'all, I mean a lot of men. I really don't. I don't. You guys do things on a daily basis that make your lives so much more difficult and make your mental health so much worse. And it's not even funny. You want me to start naming things? I'm glad you want me to start naming things. Okay, let's start here. You do not check on any of your friends as far as their mental health is concerned. You never have. You possibly never will. Maybe if you're watching this video, it'll start to make you consider the fact that you really actually don't do that. And yet you're willing to jump out of a window and make a video about what some random woman on the internet said about Men's Mental Health Month. But you don't care about it for the majority of the year. You genuinely don't. And my problem is, I don't like how reactionary so much of men content is. That's the reason why people like the Red Pill exist, because of how reactionary it is, because of how reactionary a lot of us are. That's not to say that women can't be reactionary, but their problem should be addressed by them. I am a man, so I'm going to address you. Stop talking about men's mental health if you don't do anything to help your own mental health. I feel like this should be the most basic common sense thing, and yet I know it's just not for the vast majority of you. And I get it. I used to be exactly like you. Not even that long ago, I really used to be like you. But I have to be honest. You not only don't check on your friends, you have never been to a therapist. You have never called to possibly set up a meeting with a therapist. You don't really believe in the concept of therapy, as evidenced by the fact that when you do hear people say that they have seen a therapist, the first thing you do is go, well, how come you're not completely healed? You know, to be somebody who goes to therapy all the time, you sure do still have a whole lot of problems. Do you know how deeply rooted all of the problems inside of the mind are? Of course you don't. You have those problems though. The problems are so deep that I just told you what one of the solutions to it are. And you're still fighting me tooth and nail on it by going, yeah, but you know what? It's conspiracy brain. No one's saying that, especially if you're a black man, that you have to go and believe every part of Western therapy. But you should probably go and see a therapist. You can go and see a black male therapist. Did you know that those exist? They exist. People who look like you, who sound like you, who have lived experience very similar to that of yours. You can talk to them about things and they will understand, and they will be able to break a lot of this stuff down to you, and they will help you in your life. It will help you improve your life. But a lot of y'all don't want to do that. You want to argue. You want to whine. You want to complain. And it's so funny because a lot of you have this this very red pill thought process. Yeah, this very red pill thought process where in your mind it makes where in your mind it makes perfect sense for you to basically go, hey, a man shouldn't cry, man, stop girling, stop complaining, stop crying. And yet this is all you do online. All the time you focus and you harp. You don't realize this is the algorithm putting this stuff in front of you. These things aren't being put in front of you by accident. I don't even see that stuff anymore because I have understood now how to fix my own algorithm. You can do that. You can fix your own FYP to where you don't ever engage with things like this. You don't, because you shouldn't, because it's unhealthy, because it's keeping you unhealthy. It's keeping you sad. It's keeping you lonely. It's keeping you depressed. Speaking of the lonely part, the male loneliness epidemic. Let's talk about that epidemic. Do you really care about the male loneliness epidemic? Do you really? Are you in a relationship? Are you seeking a relationship? Are you trying to help other people get into happy relationships? Other men get into happy, healthy, lasting relationships. When you see someone who is in one of those relationships, what do? Do you A, try to sabotage it? B, try to sabotage it, or C, A and B? Because let's be real, right? How many of you guys see people in happy, healthy relationships and then find some way to nitpick the relationship because it's not to your liking? It's a relationship that you personally do not agree with. Therefore, it must not be one that would work. You guys did that with a whole bunch of things. You guys did it with Sierra when it came to Russell Wilson. I was there. I was them. I was y'all. I did it. Y'all, it's like y'all want to see these relationships fail. Y'all live to see these relationships fail. The red pill wants to see these relationships fail because they feel like a relationship is an extension of just a woman, and it's not. It's two adults choosing to be in said relationship. You guys have a problem. If there is a male loneliness epidemic, it's because you're keeping yourselves there. People are telling you what things you can do right now to change your circumstances overnight. And none of you are doing it. None of you think that it's important enough to actually attempt to do something like that. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous because June is going to hit and you guys are about to go online and nonstop cry and moan and complain about whatever some random woman on planet Earth is doing with her body or with her relationship or with the man that she's in a relationship with. Who cares, bro? Who cares? You don't even care. You didn't know that this existed prior to the time that this thing comes out. Please, bro. Please do something more productive because that's not it. That's not helping. You know what that's doing? That's driving more of a wedge between men and women. And we need both men and women to come together, right? Because we need community. Get this. Community is what helps everyone out. Community is what helps everyone fight tyranny. Not trying to figure out how we can make sure we never see a matriarchy or why patriarchy is better or worse. That's not the point of these conversations, bro. These conversations are about changing the world. Changing the world. You know when you used to see, like in the early 2000s, like different renditions of what the future would look like? Did you know you can have that? Did you know that the only reason that you don't have that is because people don't understand how important community is? Because if we understood how important community was, we would put all of the money into things that would actually help us. Like maybe making sure that we could get some politicians that aren't being paid by different organizations for their own self-interest. Did you know that if we had more communities, we could do things like have our own banks? This stuff isn't like outrageous. These aren't outrageous concepts. These are things that have helped other systems on the planet, other places in the world. Did you know that the reason why you think that what you need in order for you to have a happy, healthy relationship is $1 million is because you still have this like allegiance to capitalism, which keeps that wedge between the two of you. It's going to have the two of you competing for something that you shouldn't have to compete for. You shouldn't have to compete for what it is that you do in life. And you are going to say that feminism is the thing that's making you compete. It's not. It's the system around everything. It is the capitalism. It is what makes you have to compete with everyone. It's not just you competing with women. It's you competing with other men. You have to compete for everything. And it's because the system that you have doesn't allow you to just be a dang individual. But we can't even get to those conversations because you're too busy worrying about what someone halfway across the country is doing in their relationship. Bro, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you guys follow me from TikTok, you know that I have long since checked out of any relationship conversations. I just don't bother getting myself involved in them. Why? Because I know what it's there for. It is a government psyop. Do you hear me? It's not even a psyop. It is straight up and down. It is interference. It is there to make sure people don't have these kinds of conversations because they don't want you to understand how important you are and how worth it you actually are. How worth it your male or your female counterpart is. They don't want you to understand. They want you to find as many differences between the two of you as they possibly can. If you're a man, or a woman, they want you to look at a gay person and they want you to feel like that person could not be anywhere near the level of your lived experience that you have. They want you to feel like they are just so much different. Doesn't matter. It could be based on race. It could be based on gender. It could be based on sexual orientation. It could be whatever. They want these things. They need these things. And you guys don't seem to understand that. And it is so frustrating. It is so frustrating because man, when I tell you the things that we could have, dude, I want that future that I saw as a kid. You know, when the world looked like it could be like, I don't know, like some of these like crazy futuristic cities. By the way, some of those things exist in China. But you know, when we used to see things like that. Remember back when the idea of like having robots wasn't about them like potentially like replacing you in the workforce? You remember back when that was like the conversation? You remember when we didn't even have conversations about things like artificial intelligence? You remember that? You remember back when, before we started having these conversations, we didn't have things like giant data centers that were going to drive all of your bills up sky high to the point where you won't be able to afford to live in the same place that you've been living for the past few years? You remember that? I remember that. I still have a vision of having that. And we can do that, but I'm going to be honest, like to circle everything back around, because again, I have a tendency to I'll go off on a tangent sometimes. But to sum everything up, if you really actually want men's mental health to change, you need to start with yourself. And I really do mean this. You have to start with yourself. Address your own mental health issues, fix those, and then worry about maybe trying to help out maybe like one or two of your neighbors or something like that. But this idea that you're just going to be able to just change all of mental health by essentially just complaining about the fact that there's some groups of people who are literally paid to make people hate all of this stuff. They're paid to do that. But if you think that that's like the solution to all of that, I mean, dude, I mean, really, what are you? We're not having a serious conversation. You're not to be taken seriously, so I won't take you seriously. I will ignore your video. I'll probably block you. I just don't care, dude. I just don't care. It's not important. Because if the only time that you care about like male suicide is when it's like in relation to like female suicide, do you really care about male suicide? You see what I'm saying? Like that's a problem, bro. That's a huge problem, and you need to address that. If you have questions about it, let me know. But I'm Coach Zay. Like the video, subscribe, share the video to any of your friends who may or may not feel this way. Maybe you feel like pissing them off, share it with them, whatever. But grown man, by the way. See you in the next video. Peace.